And the boys are back at the Temple Live at the Cleveland Masonic on Tuesday night, May the 9th. I'm not sure who's supporting them on the Cleveland show. MasonicCleveland.com. It's got info, tickets, all that stuff. Want to go see Government Mule? Never a bad time with those guys. Caller 10. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Did you miss us? 'Cause we missed you. Well, not Jerry from Willoughby, but the rest of you.
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.
Even more, she's like, your name's Mary. So we just had that song on.
You didn't mix it
repeat.
up with the Tina Turner version at all, or just CCR?
I said that to Brian. It made him real mad. I was like, man, I didn't know that they covered this Tina Turner song.
Oh, God, you did?
He was like, are you kidding me?
So it'd make you really mad if I were to play it again, is what you're saying. I just
Go
played Proud Mary that you had to listen to 4,000 times.
Over and over and over again.
I mean, if you're going to bash a Creedence song, you could do a hell of a lot better than Proud Mary.
No, I'm not bashing
Great
them.
song. No, I mean, if you're going to just jam a song
all
the way through, I don't think that I would be playing Proud Mary over and over again. But
no, but yeah, that she took a liking to that one, and then it switched to Post Malone after that. That I like you, I do. One in the bins, I like you.
One in the bins.
To somebody in a band, have a water friend.
Have a water friend. Put it in the bins. I have a water friend. Yeah. All right.
No, we had a great time. We actually went to the Phoenix Zoo. You were talking about the cocaine hippos. We saw a rhino, dude. I don't know that I've ever seen a rhino in real life.
Really?
I don't think the Cleveland Zoo has one, does it?
They do. They just had a baby one.
Yeah.
Maybe I just never made it to that exhibit. But we were having a great time at the Phoenix Zoo.
Right next to Monkey Island.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I haven't been to the Cleveland Zoo in forever. Probably since before COVID. But we were walking around the zoo, and you know how, like, when you go through the zoo, you're kind of in the same group of people? Like, not even on purpose, but you kind of are walking along the same... Does that ever happen to you guys? Like, when you're walking, and there's, like, the same kids and mom and stuff, because you're all headed the same way?
You kind of glob along. Yeah,
like, not on purpose. We don't know these people, but
Right.
there was this one weird teenager who kept ending up at the same exhibits as us. And I didn't see him with any parents, but he's probably, like, 15, all lanky and weird. And at one point, Blake had her finger on, like, the snake glass, and the snake was following her finger. And I was like, oh, my God, look at that. The snake likes you. And this weird teenager pops up out of nowhere. He's like, it's trying to attack you.
Oh, he's
and
a
I'm
zoo
like,
nerd.
I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Animal nerd.
This little kid. But he kept just showing up and saying weird stuff like that at different points throughout the day. Like
the whole day?
Well, like, he just kept being near us. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it. Like, because when you're walking in the same direction as people, you're going to end up at the same exhibits. It's like 3 or 4 different times. You just show up and say something weird.
That's why when something like that happens, you just linger at a particular exhibit longer than you would to get the pattern, to get the movement back to where you want it.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're not just, because you're right, it'll be a wave of the same people going along to the same exhibits.
They have an open aviary there. So that's just like a certain section of the zoo is just netted off, and they let the birds roam free. They can fly anywhere. And one of them was
Except out.
Except out. Watch the doors
Anywhere
on the way out.
Except out.
One of them was like a turkey vulture. And we were like talking, and it was like flying around. We're like, oh, that's so funny. That's a bird of prey. I'm like, dude, you got to stop being so weird, man. You're creeping out all the little kids. But it was cool. The Phoenix Zoo is huge. It was a good time.
Yeah, Phoenix, again, I don't get a big vibe off of Phoenix, but the radio there is awful. Now, I should say, I don't know. The radio in Cleveland might be awful. I never listen to the radio, so I don't know. It might be terrible everywhere.
What was so bad about it?
It was just, there's nothing, I don't know, man. It all sounded like, I mean, I guess it's the state of 2023. It all sounded, 90% of it sounded automated, but I mean, I don't know. Like, every radio station I punch around, they're all playing Uptown Funk.
Yeah?
They love their Uptown Funk in Phoenix. This song's like goddamn 10 years old. I'm like, why are they still playing Uptown Funk all the time?
Well, they tested it, and it does well.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the one and only answer when it comes to commercial radio, but still, I was like, holy God. I mean, got a little bit of one morning show that recently moved from Vegas to Phoenix, and I heard a little bit of them. It's like, that was okay. We were driving back to the airport to catch our flight back. But otherwise, it was like, oh, my God. They'd have these, like, and a buddy of mine, a guy that used to be my boss in Chicago, they brought him in from Phoenix, And he hung out for about a year, and he's like, this ain't for me. And he went back to Phoenix. So last time we were there, I had lunch with him, and, first of all, terrestrial radio, it's murder in a place with a lot of mountains like that because it's just, you have to have multiple towers because you'll be driving along in your radio station at full signal and a completely different station will just cut right in. So that makes for a very interesting listening experience, if you're jamming on some Zeppelin and then just out of nowhere, it doesn't fade in and fade out, just jams right in with like a preacher in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Some interesting, mashups. The middle of nowhere.
Speaking of middle of nowhere, that's where my cabin was that we stayed at. Well, you guys went to Arizona. We went to a cabin on the Allegheny River.
Okay.
And
what part of the Allegheny River?
The river part, the wet part.
The wet part, yeah. I mean, it was...
Well, it's a long river.
South of Erie, PA.
Yeah.
And across from where we were, there's a little island called Kroll's Island, and it was real creepy because it was a beautiful weather. Like, the weather could have been better, but nothing's alive yet. Like, none of the trees have leaves or anything like that, so it's just this dead island across the way that is uninhabited. Like, there's not even animals really on it other than, like, insects and pests and like, some small rodents because it's covered in all this, like, invasive plant life. So it's just it's like a really,
it's like a swamp kind of?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And we were sitting there and having a good time. And then all of a sudden across the way we see a dude on that island that we had just read about is uninhabited in like a black cloak.
Wait, I'm trying to figure out where you guys were because
They
the
did
Allegheny doesn't go up
mushrooms.
to Erie, Pennsylvania. Where were you guys?
It was south of there. I
Like
can't
Oil
remember.
City? Like you're
It was near. It was 50 miles north of Oil City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you're up near the state park.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Like that is part of the state park.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so we're out there, and this dude in like a black cloak couldn't have been the creepier. Like, there's no creepier way to appear on an island than in a black cloak, like 100 yards away, and just standing there. And then he points to us. Yeah.
So he's doing this to people who rent the cabin.
Probably. Also, we were on mushrooms. It could
That's
just
what
been
I was
a
like, I
log.
don't know if this is real.
So we had a good time.
So there was a guy or there wasn't a guy?
I don't know. There wasn't a guy when we weren't on mushrooms. I'll put it that way. When we weren't on
Wasn't a
mushrooms,
guy when you weren't. So when you were on mushrooms,
There was a guy.
there was a guy.
there was a guy on the island in a cloak.
Yeah, pointing
that you
me
both saw.
specifically. Yeah,
You both saw the same person.
yeah, but I think my girlfriend's the one that made it into a guy because she knows that I am more sensitive to mushrooms than she is. So she was messing with me.
Was there any way
But-
that you could have gotten over to the island to investigate?
There was a boat that wasn't with our cabin that we were renting, but it was like a couple cabins down. But I wasn't going to take somebody else's boat. Like
Gotcha.
a little rowboat. But that river was moving too. It's one of those things where like
You
if
didn't want to
would've-
whip out your little dinghy and
I
get over
did.
there?
He
I
whipped
did
out
not.
his dinghy.
Oh,
Yeah.
the dinghy was out.
All right.
The dinghy was out, but it was, yeah. That was one of those things where I'm like, oh, psychedelics are pretty trippy because there was that dude, but then any other time I wasn't on mushrooms, I was like, that wasn't that dude.
Huh.
I was just I was just very suggestible at the moment.
Mhm.
So there wasn't a dude.
There was a dude when I was on mushrooms.
That's
I
all
don't
he
know
knows.
that's all I can tell you.
Right. Okay.
When I wasn't on mushrooms.
I see.
We went for Easter. We went to this really swanky resort in Goodyear, and because I flew in on Easter Day and got off the plane, changed in the what's it called, in like the bathroom of the airport. They picked us up and we went to have like Easter brunch. And Blake had never been to a buffet before, and she
You had to get
was-
there early.
No, I got there at like noon. My plane landed at like noon, so we just went right after that. The brunch went till 3.
I see. I got
So yeah, so we went to like this nice, huge banquet room. They have this guy playing like a baby grand piano, and Blake had never been to a buffet before, and she was losing her mind. She was like, you mean we can just keep going and keep? I was like, you can take as much or as little food as you want, babe. So she had like big plate of eggs and sausage. She had like 3 things of dessert, and she was loving it, like to the point where afterwards she's like, can we go to another buffet? Like, this kid's only going to want to eat at buffets after that. But Brian and I have been counting calories. We've been on a diet. And then both of us, that was our first.
Great place to do it.
Oh, dude.
At a buffet.
Well, that was like our we're finally on vacation meal.
Right.
I ate 5 pieces of prime rib, dude. I
Jesus.
could not.
Thinly sliced?
It was
Shaved?
not shaved.
Beef?
Not shaved beef. Sliced beef. But I couldn't stop because I've been eating like ground turkey.
Why does
and
everybody
salads.
love prime rib?
Dude,
it's just not good.
I don't think it's that good either, but I think I was just so deprived of good food and
I see.
gravy and
Yeah.
oh God. I
You went
kept
all
going.
in.
I couldn't stop. Brian's like, after like the third, because I got 2 pieces the original time, went back up, got another 2 pieces. And then I was like, I think I need 1 more piece of prime rib. And Brian was like, are you kidding me, dude? But meanwhile, because he's vegetarian, he went up and had a couple plates of like side dishes, and then they made him a vegetable Wellington, which beef Wellington is like beef and cheese and a puff. Yes, and a puff pastry. They did that for him with like veggies on the inside, and it was incredible. Like all 3 of us agreed that we thought the best day of vacation was the day that we had the buffet. So it was fantastic, though. But
I mean, every time they're like New Year's Eve prime rib dinner, I'm like, it must be super cheap. It must be like, I don't get it. It's like some holdover from the 70s or something.
I don't know, man. It's
Why
good.
prime?
I like
It's a
prime
good
rib.
cut of
Do
meat.
you?
It's
Like,
a good cut of meat.
Oh man, I don't get it.
I really
Prime
enjoyed
rib.
it.
People do. I just never
prime
understood
rib
it.
with little horseradish.
Yeah, they had like a horseradish cream. I went for the gravy instead, but
I know, yeah, you're not a horseradish.
no, I hate horseradish.
Horse-
But you talk about creepy figures, dude. They had one of the scariest looking Easter bunnies. I was like, why do they rent these Easter bunnies?
They're all terrifying.
Why can't they
They all
make
look
them
awful.
cute?
Yeah,
Like,
they all look awful.
So awkward. So Blake, I thought that would be a nice surprise for her because I told her we're gonna go get like a fancy brunch and there's gonna be a good surprise for you. And the Easter bunny was a surprise. She's hiding behind us the whole time. She's like, I don't like it. I was like, and Brian, I guess, said that she's never liked Easter bunnies.
I think Easter bunnies occupy for a lot of kids the same place that clowns do for some adults because
Yes.
like a bunny, the proportions are all off, right?
His head was giant, a skinny little normal person body.
Well, I just mean in general, a bunny is a small animal, you know? You can have somebody dressed up as a lion or you can have somebody dressed up as a bear. Those are animals that come big. Bunnies are fundamentally small, right?
I get what you're
So when you
saying.
dress someone up as a bunny or a rabbit, it's inherently or at least possibly terrifying.
And it's
Yeah.
also kind of, it doesn't look anything like a bunny.
No, it's a human
it's
person with a bunny
yeah,
head.
humanoid.
It's like an
type
Island
bunny.
of Dr. Moreau type of hybrid situation that
There's
She was like super uncomfortable and like she had to watch a couple families take pictures and then like went up and high-fived them. It probably took a solid 5 minutes for her to warm up to the idea of getting a picture with this Easter bunny. So, and I don't think she was on mushrooms. I helped her get her.
did she see a man in a cloak?
right. But I
on
never understood
Kroll's
that.
Island.
Right.
Like, why make it so creepy if this is supposed to be directed at children?
They're all creepy. They're better now, but I posted this years ago and then I shared it again on Easter. All these like old photos of people posing with Easter bunnies, and the Easter bunnies of yesteryear, like from like 80s,
Oh, yeah.
70s, 60s, are the worst thing you've ever seen.
Like,
It is scarier than any Halloween costume you've ever seen. It's terrifying, especially because in like
They're
when
old-timey.
they're black and white, they look terrible. But they would make them like actual bunny colors, so like
yeah, it's a gray,
a
and
gray
brown.
or brown
Yeah.
humanoid Easter bunny is not something that a kid's gonna be like, this is
I
exciting.
want to cuddle it.
Yeah.
I guess. Did Mary ever get the shoes and purses from the weird guy?
Oh, no. I checked before we left. I obviously didn't have anything. But he emailed me and said that it's going to take about 2 weeks. And there's 6 pair of Louis Vuittons coming.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
You still think it's legit?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's going to happen. He didn't send a tracking number or anything like that. For anybody who's not caught up, there's a new foot guy in my clientele, I guess, who is said he likes spending money. That's his thing. And so he wanted to send me some Louis Vuitton shoes. He said he next day aired them, which didn't happen, and now he's saying 2 weeks. So
he went from next day to 2 weeks.
yes.
How long will you be on Mars, ma'am?
Oh man, enough to need 100 tampons.
I think he just wanted to be mentioned on the air.
I don't even know
Well,
if
nobody knows what we're talking about.
And I don't even know if he knows
knows.
this because he found me on Feet Finder, which is like an anonymous website.
Not only that, but if it doesn't happen, you're not out anything.
No, not at all.
There's no downside for you.
Well, and that's why I said he might just be like flexing. Like some guys want you to think they're Johnny Big Balls, you know what I mean?
I don't
Like, oh, look at all this
understand that.
money I got. I have no idea.
But if you flex and then don't come through,
Where's the flex?
Where's the flex?
And then it's just a fantasy.
right.
I think it might be for I honestly have no idea. So we'll see. He said 2 weeks. So we'll see.
All right. Huh. Alan, my grandson was freaked out when he saw the Easter Bunny taking a break with his head on his lap. That'll do it
smoking a
too.
cigarette.
Yeah. Donnie Darko walking around.
Oh, yeah, that's a creepy bunny from Donnie Darko. There was a video, and this is an Easter Bunny, but it's like a Disney performance, and the Incredibles were walking out, and Mrs. Incredible or Elastigirl is walking out, and she trips, and her face falls off.
Oh my god.
And then you just see this, and like her, like the hair like covers the actual person's face, and it's just like, imagine being a kid that's going to see this. And you're like, oh, it's Elastigirl, and then her face falls off in front of you.
That's a mushroom experience.
Yeah, right.
Why didn't her face stretch along with everything else? Mrs. Incredible. I got a break. I will have Baby Clock tickets for you. Death Clock and Baby Metal are doing a co-headlining run, and so they're going to be coming through and stopping in Cleveland. They're going to play September 6th at the Agora. If you dig either of those bands, I'll hook you up coming back. 35192, text for anything, and we'll be back.
This is the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart device you have. Just tell it to play